Good evening. Welcome to second video lesson on second chapter, electric potential and capacitance. Yesterday we have started this chapter. At the beginning we said that we are going to deal with scalar quantities only in this chapter. One is electric potential, other is capacitance. Yesterday we have defined electric potential, and we stated that potential is not so significant, but there is another term that is called electric potential difference. So both of them we have expressed, and we said that both of them are scalar quantities. Both have the same unit potential. Actually, work done per unit charge is known as potential. And if you move the charge between 2 points in the electric field, that will give rise to electric potential. Yesterday we have also made a calculation or a derivation to electric potential due to a point charge. V equals 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q by R. And at the concluding part, we stated that potential due to a positive charge will be positive and potential due to a negative charge will be negative. This happens because potential is not facilitated with a direction. It's being a scalar quantity. And in extension to this topic, we have started electric dipole. We made calculation of electric potential on the equatorial line of the dipole, and we found that at every point on the equatorial line of the dipole, electric potential is going to be 0. So today we take up the other session, that is electric potential on the axial line of a dipole. So today's topic, electric potential along axial line of a dipole. Right. Now, take a charge here plus Q, and at some distance from here there is minus Q. Center of the dipole, total length is 2A. So this part is A and this part is A. And if you extend the line, this axis, rather this is called axis of the dipole of length 2A. If you extend either towards right or towards left, that line is called as axial line. So we now imagine a point P on the axial line at a distance R from the center of the dipole. Right. Then minus Q is located at a distance of R minus A from point P, and plus Q will be located at a distance of R plus A. This you can make it out from the figure, because this total distance is R and this is A. If you want this distance from the total distance, you should subtract this distance, that is R minus A. And up to here you have A, and you want the distance up to here, so to R you have to add this much, that is nothing but what, R plus A. Now, so I would like to calculate potential due to individual charges at point P, and then I will add up. So potential at point P due to plus Q, where it has V due to plus Q. Okay, let me make the statement that potential at point P due to charge plus Q is V due to plus Q equals to V due to plus Q equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0, because we have made this derivation yesterday, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R, where R is the distance of the point of calculation from the source charge. So from the source charge, distance of point P is R plus A. So source charge magnitude is Q divided by R plus A. In which direction? Should I draw some direction here? Like this radially outward, like this radially inwards? No, I cannot make, anybody cannot make such a direction, because potential is a scalar quantity. We just denote. Similarly, potential at point P due to minus Q. Similarly, potential at point P due to minus Q is nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into minus Q divided by minus q is located at a distance of r minus a. R minus a. Now, net potential at point P is V equals to, potential is a scalar quantity, scalars are additive, so you can add them directly. V due to plus Q plus V due to minus Q. This comes out to be V equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 V due to plus Q, right? And in both of them you have 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught common. Q is also a common, so 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q brackets. In this you have 1 by r plus a, so this is 1 by r plus a plus, in this you have minus 1 by r minus a, so this is minus 1 by r minus a. So this is simplified as V 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q into 1 by r plus a minus 1 by r minus a. So this is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q into 1 by a plus b minus 1 by a minus b is a square minus b square is the LCM. So r square minus a square is LCM. Then if it goes here r plus a, you have r minus a here, right? Minus, right? And if r minus a goes here, r plus a will be left over. So this is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q. R minus r will be cancelled. Here is minus a, minus of plus a will become again minus a. You have minus 2a divided by r square minus a square. So if I write this as minus outside, I will get 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0. So this minus is taken outside. Then you are left with q into 2a, which we name it as dipole moment P divided by r square minus a square. So this is your derivation, where r since dipole moment P equals to magnitude of any one charge and separation between the charges. So this we are using here. Now you cannot convert this into a vector. There is no need because we said it is a scalar quantity. If it is a very short dipole, order of angstroms length, dipole axis length, you can see that point P is located at a distance r and this is a. Compared to this a, r is what? Large. So therefore a can be neglected. So this comes out to be P by r square. So for a short dipole, comma, a is very less than r, so a can be neglected, a can be neglected, and you get v equals to minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into P by r square. Okay, so you have taken a system of equal and opposite charges, plus q and minus q, which is called as electric dipole. But you see that electric potential due to minus q is dominating here. That is why you are getting a negative sign. You are getting negative sign because you have chosen point P very close to minus q. Relatively plus q is away from P. If you shift this point P towards the left of this one dipole, and plus q will be closer than minus q, and your answer is going to be positive. So on the right side of this system, potential is negative. On the right side of this is left side of this system, potential is going to be positive. Now, what is the potential exactly at the center of the dipole? So when you have taken equipotential surface, equatorial line like this, you proved that potential at every point is going to be 0, and you said that potential at this point is also going to be 0. So this also should give the same answer. So if you say here A and this is A, plus Q will produce a plus 5 volt, and this should produce minus 5 volt, because equal and opposite charges. So net potential is going to be what? 0. So potential at the center of the dipole will be 0. Remember, electric field is not 0, right? Okay. So in the textbook, it is dealt as a single article, electric potential due to a dipole. So some arbitrary point they have taken here, making some angle theta with the dipole axis, and that potential, these distances are resolved into one distance along the axial line, other distance along the equatorial line, and calculation is made. So either you can go by that way, that is a lengthy process, or you can split it into pieces. One piece is along axial line, other is along the equatorial line. So we proved that along the equatorial line electric potential is 0, and along the axial line potential will exist like 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into P by R square. So don't worry about this negative sign. Sign occurs depending on the situation. Otherwise this is not a permanent sign. Right? Okay. Now, so we don't have only a dipole like positive and negative. There may be so many number of charges involved in the system. Like we have a triangle where there are 3 charges fixed at the vertices of the triangle. There may be a square where 4 charges are fixed on the corners of the square. There may be a pentagon, there can be a hexagon, any geometrical shape, regular shapes only we deal with. In such case, how do you calculate electric potential at a given point? So that is our interest now. So for that, what we give as heading is potential due to multiple charges. Potential due to multiple charges. Multiple charges, and of course this is principle of superposition. Principle of superposition is discussed not only for vector quantities, it also can be stated for scalar quantities also. So we will see now. Suppose here is a point P, and here there is a charge Q1, and here there is another charge Q2, here there is another charge Q3. We will take only 3 and we will extend to any number of charges. Q1 is located at distance R1 from P, Q2 is located at distance R2, so let me name it R1, and this is R2, and this is what R3. This much only. Okay. Now this will create a potential at point P given by V1 equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q1 by R1. Or you can write R1 peak, or because this 1 2 peak, so I already named as R1. Similarly, potential at P due to Q2 is V2 equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q2 by R2. Similarly, V3 equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q3 by R3. We do not have that vector concept here, that's why directly we will write. So net potential is going to be V equals to V1 plus V2 plus V3. That is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 common. You will take Q1 by R1 plus Q2 by R2 plus Q3 by R3. If you add a subscript like R1P, R2P, R3P, so it will give you the clear meaning that you are calculating potential at point P only. Otherwise also there is no problem. So if you have got n number of charges, V equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 summation n equals to 1 to n, this will be Q n by R n. Like this. So n equals to 1 means Q1 by R1, n equals 2 means Q2 by R2, Q3 by R3, like this. So this is potential due to n number of charges in the system. All of them are source charges only. So now we will state principle of superposition for electric potential, that net potential at a given point P due to any number of charges in the system is the algebraic sum only. Suppose if Q2 becomes negative, then it will be written as V1 plus V2 plus V3 only. But here minus Q2 by R2 will come. So here also minus Q2 by R2 will come. So as it is, we are adding with sign. Remember, when you are adding anything algebraically, the sign of that physical quantity is to be brought along with. But in vectors, we don't do like that. Sign we will not bring. We will see only the directions. So, net potential at a given point P due to any number of charges in the system is algebraic sum of potentials due to individual charges. I repeat, potential at a point P, net potential at a point P due to any number of charges in the system is algebraic sum of potentials due to individual charges of the system. So there. Okay. So we will do some applications of this one, then you will understand this. So nobody will ask you to derive this, but remember what we did. We simply calculated potential due to every charge at the point of interest, and then we have added them. Adding the scalars is very easier than adding the vectors. If I ask you to calculate electric field at this point, it is not this much easy. You will draw the electric field directions like this. Two vectors are resolved into single vector by parallelogram. That single and the other vector will become two sides of the parallelogram, and then so on. Right. So we will do one problem. You have example. Here there is a point charge, 2 microcoulomb, and here there is another charge. So this is minus 3 microcoulomb. The total distance is 15 centimeter. Both of them are separated. Now, what is your question is, locate a point on the line joining the charges, in between them. That means this point where you are going to locate a point on the line joining charges in between them where net potential is 0. Net potential is 0. So there may be a point between 2 microcoulomb and minus 3 coulomb at which the net potential is going to be 0. It is obvious because this will produce a positive potential at the given point and this will produce a negative potential at the same point. If they are equal in magnitude, net is going to be 0. So that we do not know. So therefore, I imagine a point P here at a distance x from 2 microcoulomb. Then from minus 3 microcoulomb, the same point P is located at a distance of 15 minus x. So let me call it as one charge, and this is what second charge. So net potential at P is V1 plus V2. Okay. So V1 is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q1 by R1 plus V2 is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q2 by R2. So this is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is common. I will take Q1 by R1 plus Q2 by R2. Now, this is 9 into 10 power 9. Okay, fine. So I am not going to substitute this one. So this is Vp. What is my question? Net potential is going to be 0 at point P. So this I am going to make it as 0. Is this clear? I am going to locate a point P between the two charges where the net potential is going to be 0. So at P, the potential should be equal to 0. Then this 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught will come this side and will become 0. You will get that Q1 by R1 equals to minus Q2 by R2. What is Q1 value? 2 microcoulomb. Okay, I will write only 2 micro because both sides micro only. So it will be cancelled. By R1 is x centimeter equals to minus Q2. What is Q2? With sign you should take minus 3 microcoulomb divided by R2 is 15 minus x. Now, minus of minus will become what? Plus. You cross multiply this. This is x. Now, 15 into 2, 30 minus 30 minus 2x equals to, this is minus into minus plus 3x. And 2x will go that side, 5x equals to 30, right? So x equals to 6 centimeter. That means what? This x value is 6 centimeter. So either from 2 microcoulomb 6 centimeter distance or from minus 3 microcoulomb 9 centimeter distance, right? The potential at point P is going to be 0. But my question is, will the electric field at this point is going to be 0? We proved that at 6 centimeter distance from 2 microcoulomb, potential is 0. Question is, will the electric field at that same point become 0? It cannot be, because if you are making a calculation for electric field at point P, this will produce electric field in this direction, radially outwards. This we call it as E1. And this will produce radially inwards. So this is E2. Now you can see E1 and E2 both are pointing in the same direction. So they will add up. So there is no chance for cancellation of electric fields. So electric field not necessary to be 0. So I make the statement again. It is not necessary that at a point where potential is 0, field necessarily to be 0. It cannot be 0 also. So this is the best example. Okay, right. So is this clear? Right. So this is application of principle of superposition. And another example I will give you, that second example, example 2, you have a square of side A, here you have 1 coulomb charge, here you have minus 2 coulomb charge, here 3 coulomb charge, and here minus 2 coulomb charge. Right? Now, find the net potential at the center of the square. V at center, you need to find out. Then what you do? You make it as 1, you make it as 2, make it as 3, and make it as 4th charge. So V equals to V at center. So this I call it as point P, point of interest. So Vp equals to V1 plus V2 plus V3 plus V4. Right? Now, 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 is common for all. And you see, point P is located at equal distance from every corner by the symmetry. So this 1 by r is also common, because expression is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into source charge divided by distance of point of interest r. So r is common. So what is left over now? Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 plus Q4. Right? So this is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into 1 by r into Q1 1 coulomb plus Q2 minus 2 coulomb plus Q3 3 coulomb plus Q4 minus 2 coulomb. Now add 1 plus 3 4 minus 2 minus 2 4 4 minus 4 0. So I will get 0. So when you are solving multiple choice questions in the board examination, just by symmetry only these distances are equal, right? If the sum of all these charges is going to be 0, this is the summation of all the charges at the corners. If this is going to be 0, then the net potential is also going to be 0. Same thing you can do for equilateral triangle also. You have a equilateral triangle. Here there is 1 coulomb, here there is 2 coulomb, and here is minus 3 coulomb. Find the net potential at the centroid of the equilateral triangle. Centroid is located at equal distances from all corners. So like this problem only, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 by r is common. And then you have Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 only. So 1 plus 2, 3, 3 minus 3, 0. So here it is going to be 0 potential. So adding scalars is very easy than adding the vectors. Suppose if you are asked to calculate what is the net electric field at this point, means 2 microcoulomb will produce 1 electric field, minus 3 will produce like this, this plus 1 will produce like this. So 3 electric field will exist. Now you have to calculate net electric field due to first these two and then next these two. Very tedious calculations will be involved. For what? For vectors. For scalars, we don't have any such tediousness. It's very easy. Okay? Right. Fine. And in board examination, at the same point only. Earlier we have taken 2 microcoulomb and minus 3 microcoulomb separated at 15 centimeter. Locate a point P where net potential is 0. We located a point P at a distance 6 centimeter. The question is extended like this. Calculate electric field at the same point. So I have shown you that E1 and E2 are pointing in the same direction. You use the formula 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R square for Q1 by R1 square and Q2 by R2 square. Then add them. Convert them into what? Centimeter should be converted into meters. Microcoulomb should be converted into coulomb with proper units. If you do not convert them into units, unnecessarily you will be losing the marks. Okay? Right. So this is all about electric potential. So we have defined electric potential. We have defined potential difference. We calculated electric potential due to a point charge. We calculated electric potential due to a dipole. And we stated the principle of superposition for multiple charges which produce electric potential at a given point, and we have seen some applications. Okay, right. Now after that we have very important concept that is known as equipotential surfaces. Equipotential surfaces. This is one of the important questions for short answers, maybe 1 mark or 2 mark. So as the name suggests, it is a surface, or these are all the surfaces on which potential is equal. So you have one surface, spherical surface or any type of surface, or maybe circular surface. You select so many points on that surface. At every point on that surface, the potential will remain same. If at one point it is 5 volt, the second point also should have the 5 volt, third also will have the 5 volt. Any number of points, if we consider, all points should have the same potential. All such surfaces are known as what? Equipotential surfaces. We have seen in the dipole that plus Q minus Q along the equatorial line, electric potential is becoming what? 0 at every point. So if you draw a plane perpendicular to the axis of the dipole, that plane will correspond to equipotential surface. So how do you define equipotential surface? Means surface on which, not necessarily, I will write very simple. Equipotential surfaces means potential is same. Potential is same at every point. At every point on the surface. Potential is same at every point on the surface. That means potential difference between any 2 points on the surface, on that surface only, any 2 points on that surface is 0. Is 0. So in such case, if potential difference is 0, if you want to move a unit charge from one point to other point, you don't need to do any work. Why? Because yesterday we have defined that potential difference is, say, VA minus VB equals to W by Q. Potential difference. If point A and point B have the same potential, VA minus VB will be what? 0. So work done will become automatically 0. So it is not necessary to move. It is not necessary to do any work to move a unit charge from one point to another on a given equipotential surface. Obviously, you need to do work to move the same charge from one equipotential surface to other equipotential surface. Okay, right. Now let us see some patterns of equipotential surfaces. So, patterns of equipotential surfaces. Equipotential surfaces. Fine. Now, first you take isolated point charge. Whether it is positive charge or negative charge, it is immaterial. because we are not going to draw any electric field lines, only potential surfaces only. So here if you take this one Q, say this, okay, let me write this plus Q. Fine. I select a point at 1 centimeter here, here also, here also, here also, here also. Around this I will consider all these points. Fine. Now by symmetry, by the formula, V equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R. Q is the source charge, R is the distance of points of interest. All of them are located at the same distance, so every one of them will have the same potential. So if I join all these points, then I will get one equipotential surface. This is surface 1. If I take at 2 centimeters another point like this, I will get another equipotential surface. Then I will get another equipotential surface. Now you know that electric potential decreases with the distance. So if electric potential surfaces are close enough to each other, potential in that region will be more, and if they are departing away, potential will be less. So like this, the distances, you observe the distances, this distance, and this distance. More the separation, relatively less and least. This is the pattern for isolated point charge. Even if you take if you draw electric field lines, what will happen? Electric field line for plus Q are radially outwards, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. Now, do you see that what are these arrows I have written? Field lines. Field lines. What are the circles? Equipotential surfaces. So every field line is the radius of a particular circle or equipotential surface. And you know that angle between the radius and the circumference is always 90 degree. So therefore I can make another statement that electric potential surfaces exist perpendicular to electric field lines. I repeat, electric potential surfaces exist perpendicular to electric field lines. So this is the second one. First one, what we did? We have seen that 2 points correspond to the same potential, and if you move a point charge from one point to other point on the same surface, work done will be 0. So these all can be counted for the properties of electric field lines. First property, field lines exist, properties of equipotential surfaces. First property, equipotential surfaces exist perpendicular to the electric field lines. Number 2, if you want to move a unit positive charge